Welcome to episode 2 of Newb-to-Nephalem.
I worked my hands to the bone to bring you these fine goods.
Now that you're level 70, we'll need to work on the Gears of Dread build for your Demon Hunter and look for ZDH gear as well on the side. If the person that power leveled you brought you through some Nephalem rifts and greater rifts to help you get some gear, that's awesome, and I'm going to help you figure out how to get the rest of it and get the right rolls and Ancient Gear and stuff like that. So the easiest way to get gear is to leech. Ask in the community for leeching gear runs and stuff like that. A lot of people will run Nephalem rifts to get keys, or they need lower GRs to just level their gems. If you can't find that, or you just want to play a bit, the best thing to do is work on bounties.
There are many bounties to undertake nearby.
Doing bounties solo at any tournament level, as long as you can do them pretty quickly. Now this might take some time, but you'll be able to learn how the game works and get used to your character and builds. The bounties give you special materials that you'll need, and most importantly at this phase, you'll get crafting plans. This will allow you to make some of the necessary gear later on. So as you are working on gear, doing bounties, you'll start to acquire Bloodshards. These are used for gambling at Kadala. She hates you.
What?
But they give you a chance for better gear. Most people will only get armor pieces and offhands from Kadala because they cost 25 shards. When you first start out, you're limited to 500 Bloodshards, and this is increased by doing solo greater rifts. So as you are progressing through your tournament experience, do a few greater rifts at the highest tournament level you can, and increase your Bloodshard capacity. And the last process is going to be upgrading yellows using the Kanai's Cube. After gambling from Kadala, you'll have a bunch of yellow items that you can upgrade using white, blue, and yellow mats and death breaths. You can also upgrade crafted yellows from the blacksmith and jeweler. In the gearing process, our goal is to get full ancient or primal gear. First up, focus on one part at a time when you're gambling, crafting, and upgrading. Check out max roll and make sure you know what good gear looks like. DPS typically looks for crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and area damage, but it's kind of a judgment call and it takes time to really understand. Personally, I like to keep an extra set of gear in the stash until I get decent quality items. That way you can wear your best parts and then reroll the extras. Once you have ancient gear, go ahead and augment it. Even early on, if it's not great gear, don't worry about saving your whispers or wasting gems. You'll be able to get those in bulk later on. I'll be covering Echoing Nightmares and Augments in a later video. 2 notes for Kadala this season. There's an altar node that gives you double legendaries from Kadala. However, due to a bug, this doesn't work for chest legs or rings. And once you have the altar fully unlocked, she can give double primals of the same type. So if you are gambling for gloves, you'll get 2 primal gloves from her.
Well, isn't that nice?
As you're farming, you're going to run across a bunch of items that are commonly used on multiple characters and on followers. So first up, I'm going to talk about the 0 damage and follower items. We have Nemesis Bracers that will make your runs go a lot faster. Flavor of Time for pylons. Gloves of Worship, mainly for Season 28 because of the Shrine Potion power, will last for 10 minutes as long as you don't die. Quillis Cuirass for some extra defense. Leoric's Crown, that gives additional perks for the gem that's slotted into it. So you get bonus XP with a ruby and extra bonus gold with an emerald. The Broken Crown, which is used for farming gems. Strong Arm Bracers are also good to keep. They're used on some of the Z builds. And if you plan on playing a Barbarian, the Band of Might. This is used for damage builds and the Z Barb. And now to cover some of the damage jewelry to look for. First up, Squirt's Necklace. This is used for the majority of DPS builds out there and is always good to have at least 1, if not 5 or 10. A Focus and Restraint, which are a set item. We're going to use that for the Gears of Dread Demon Hunter. For the Wizard, we want to look out for the Halo of Carini. It's a very low drop rate, so hold on to these even if you don't have your Wizard yet. For the Necro, look for Crisbin's Sentence. Another low drop rate and good to have. When you're first starting out, the gear you get is going to be pretty bad. So you can take average and okay gear to the Artisan on the top right of Tristram and use the Enchant tab to reroll one of the affixes. Now this only works on one affix, you can't change it later. If you click on the question mark, it'll pull up all the options that can happen for the reroll, where you make sure you can have a chance at getting what you want. It does cost some materials, but the main one you'll run out of is Forgotten Souls for your armor pieces. And then for rings and amulets, it also costs Imperial gems. Now that you have a few parts, we're going to talk about what to put in the cube and how the cube works.
If that is what you want.
So typically items that go in the cube have a ranged legendary bonus. For example, in our Gears of Dread build, this works for Depth Diggers. Our primary skills deal 100% additional damage. If you're wearing this item, you might find one as a lower roll, and we don't want that. We want to maximize our output. This is also used for items that have naturally bad affixes like the Ring of Royal Grandeur. Now that we have a general idea of some items to look for in the gearing process, I'm going to go over the legendary gems. Legendary gems are why you need sockets and jewelry because they give way more of a boost than any other affix can give. They give bonuses every level and additional perks after level 25. These are leveled in your Greater Rift runs. First up, talking about Zai's. So this gives bonus damage the farther away you are from the enemy. However, it's kind of bugged, so it gives its benefit no matter where you are. Bane of the Trapped increases damage against any enemies with a control impairing effect, and after level 25, it does that itself for enemies within 15 yards. And Bane of the Powerful is great this season because we mainly do elite hunting, and it gives you a 20% increased damage after killing elites, and then after level 25, you get 15% more damage to elites, and you take 15% reduced damage from elites. The Tegut gem is for our Gears of Dread Demon Hunter. You're going to gain increased damage whenever strafing. This stacks up to 10 times, and these stacks increase your armor after level 25. And some extra gems I mentioned, the Gem of Ease we're going to use for your Z builds. Esoteric Alteration gives you a huge defense bonus if you're having trouble staying alive. And last up we have the Bane of the Stricken. This gives you additional damage after every attack and gives bonus damage against Rift Guardians. This is mainly for Rift Guardian killers and some solo pushing. Now that you have gear, you have gems, all this junk, what do you do with it? Organizing your stash is a great thing to do and will minimize your downtime during speed GRs. I'm going to go through my organization system and hopefully helps keep your stash from becoming chaos. Our first 1 and 2 tabs are mainly for junk that we want to go through later. Drop everything here that you might want to keep for other builds, followers, or just seems kind of cool. Tab number 3 is for usable items that aren't as commonly needed, such as cow sticks, puzzle rings, potions, infernal keys, stuff like that. Tab number 4 is for rings and amulets. Tab number 5 is for gems and legendary gems. I also keep my petrified screams and ram's gifts here. On page 2, we keep class-specific gear, so your demon hunter, your wizard, barbarian, all have their own tab. Now, those last tabs, you might have to double up some, but this system in general should help you keep your stash a little better organized. The armory is best used for swapping similar builds, or if you have the space for it, builds that you don't use too often. For my demon hunter, I mainly use Gears of Dread, but I will swap to Marauders to do Echoing Nightmares. So I hope this helps, and good luck out there.